Welcome to Glow 365 for The Mia Allman Show, presented by Official Woman of Culture. I am your host, Coach Lady Mia. I'm a certified master life coach and certified mental health counselor and practitioner who shares honest conversations on the important issues that affect men and women, and the importance of living healthy by embracing and celebrating our cultural heritage, and so much more. And now, let's get started. Hi, I'm Coach Lady Mia. Thank you all for tuning in on Glow 365 for The Mia Allman Show, streaming on YouTube at Glow 365 TV shows and on Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network. National Authors Day was on November 1st, and in KUO Magazine, we also recognize and celebrate the contributions of authors, their work to literature and culture. It's also a time to appreciate the profound impact authors have on our lives through their words and stories. Today, in acknowledging national authors, we are taking this time to both honor seasoned authors, inspired and upcoming, and would-be writers. Today, I have the honor of introducing my special guest, who's a business partner at Studio 305 Orlando, KUO Magazine Inspiring Authors Journalist, founder, editor-in-chief of Blackstone Publishing, ambassador for the Nation of Israel, and he has written several books that became top-selling in their categories. Karajah, Yashar, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
Well, thank you, Mia. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to this interview. I know that I've read a lot of your KUO magazines, and just being a business partner with you, I have a lot of respect for what you do, and it's a pleasure to be here and join you for this interview.
Thank you, and I'm honored to have you here finally to talk a little bit about publishing and, get the authors to the next level of becoming a best-selling author. As the holiday season is approaching, please share a little bit about your culture, how you celebrate it during this time with your family, and also your name, because that's a very distinctive name that you don't hear very often.
Right. Okay. Well, I am Hebrew. My name does have Hebrew origins. The kara in Hebrew means to bow down, and then Jah is Jah, Yahweh, Jehovah. So it means that one that bows down to Jehovah, Yahweh. So it has a Hebrew origin. And then Yashar means upright. Like it's in English, a lot of times we say Yashar, but it's in Hebrew is more Yashar. So it means one that bows down to Yahweh, and then one that lives upright, Yashar. And so for this season, being Hebrew, so I do follow the Hebrew, biblical. Basically, if we read the Bible has various what we call high holy days, and so we really have 3 seasons and 7 high holy days, and then plus some minor holidays as well. So I follow basically the same ones. If we read the Bible, we read all that from Moses to the prophets, King David, King Solomon, all the way to Jesus Christ, the Apostle Paul, all the disciples, all the high holy days they celebrated. I celebrate the same ones. So during this season, it's typically we just finished one of the seasons, which was starting with the 7th month in the Hebrew calendar, and then we have the blowing of trumpets, which starts the mark of the 7th month, and then we have the Day of Atonement, when it's 24-hour fasting and spiritual purging, and then a week, 5 days later, it's the week of Feast of Tabernacles, which is a 7-day feast. So that took place in September. So now we have another one. It's in the book of Maccabees. If we read some of the apocryphal books, it's in the book of Maccabees, and we even see people like Jesus Christ who celebrated which is called Hanukkah. So Hanukkah is coming up in December, and so I celebrate that. With my family. My family has a diversity of things they celebrate. So I have family that celebrates Kwanzaa, family that celebrates Christmas, family that celebrates, and then my immediate family, celebrates Hanukkah. So we usually mark it with we'll have a break bread with one another. We read scriptures, play music, just rejoice, celebrate. It's the Hanukkah celebrates the rededication of the temple after it was sacked. Jerusalem was sacked by Romans. So, we use the menorah. We light the menorah, 7-branch candlestick, and so we just rejoice that in the recovering of our culture, our heritage, the temple, and so that's how we celebrate. We light up the candlesticks, and we pretty much just have a good fellowship with one another. For those that believers, those that follow in the faith, and are good friends and close friends and family.
That is awesome. It's so important, during the holidays to look at the true spirit of celebrating with family and in incorporating some spiritual foundation with that, because with everything going on in the world, we have to be so grateful for family, to be alive, itself. So I think that's really the true meaning when I look at holidays, is just spending time with family and catching up, and just celebrating each other.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure. Family they're with us for life, really. So
Yeah. Gotta enjoy those special moments, with that. But you're also the ambassador for Nation of Israel. Tell us about how that came about.
Okay. Well, first thing I want to throw, the Nation of Israel, the Israelite nation, is not affiliated with the state of Israel. So they are two different things. So the Israelite nation, the Nation of Israel, we are scattered. We're scattered people throughout the globe. Many of us have been taken. There was, I'm sure everybody knows about the transatlantic slave trade, which brought a lot of the Israelite nation over to the Western Hemisphere. So North America, South America, and the Caribbean. So, as if we read in the book of Deuteronomy in the Holy Bible, we'll see a lot of the prophecies that said that we were going to be taken into another captivity. Our nation has been in a few different captivities, from Egypt to Babylon to Syria, and currently the Western American United States, captivity from various European nations. So, I believe it was called. It was about when I was. I've been in it about 20 years, a little over 20 years. It's really when we come into it, as Jesus says, we need to be reborn. So really, I feel like I was reborn into this, and to really uncover who I am, and really by the power of God, because really God is the one that reveals things to us, and a lot of the truths that we know of comes from the power of God. So through that, starting to read the Bible, because a lot of us, we grew up reading the Bible and going to church, but a lot of us don't have the understanding of who we are in the Bible. So when that realization came and that clarity came, then I really just felt that calling at that point. And so I felt called out. And some of the books, as we're going to get into some of the publishing, were the official Israelite Nation Bible. And so once I began publishing these Bibles, then it became kind of a go-to person or a spokesperson for the Israelite nation. And a lot of people, as they're coming in and wanting to learn about the Hebrew nation, the Hebrew people, the Israelite nation, they would contact me, because I always put my contact information in the Bibles that I was publishing. And so, it's really through that. It's really through the publishing, through the Bibles that I published, that people started knowing about what I do, and and really starting to seek me out in terms of answers as they're coming into the knowledge of what the Bible was teaching, as opposed to what they originally were taught. Because when I said there was no affiliation with the state of Israel, so the state of Israel is more of a political movement, primarily a European-based political movement, whereas the nation of Israel, the Israelite nation, comes from the lineage and the heritage from the original Israelites from the Holy Bible, like, from the seed of Abraham to Moses to Solomon to all the prophets through Christ. And so, so that's the difference. And right now, we actually don't have the nation where it should be. We don't have a governance, so to say, or we don't have the land, so to say. So we are a scattered people still. So, that's something we continue to work at. The Bible says we're going to be the tail until we really get our stuff together, because right now we're still not following the ways that we're supposed to be following. If we look throughout the United States, we still, like Christ says, we're a lost sheep. We're the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So we're still, for the most part, a lost people. We're not really following a lot of God's laws and God's ways and God's commandments. So we're a lot of people just doing their own thing, following their own pleasures, doing their, so,
True.
we're really just in a low state at this point. So, I see my role and what I'm striving to do with the position I'm in is to continue to help people finding themselves, and then not only finding themselves, but teaching them how they're supposed to live, what they're accordingly. We do have the Bible as a guide, and that's why God has given us the Bible to guide us and lead us in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. So, and then doing that through the publishing, putting whether it's the Bibles and other supplementary works that I continue to publish, and so that's what I'm doing with the Israelite nation.
Thank you for sharing that. And, having those books that you've written on that, which is very educational for those that don't understand the culture itself. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Now, you have written many books. What inspired you to become an author, and what was that feeling like when you finished writing that first book to have it published?
Okay. Well, the first book I ever wrote was a book called Genesis, Let There Be Light. So it was a breakdown of the first 2 chapters of the book of Genesis in the Bible. And so really I was inspired to put information that's not often taught. A lot of times when people look at any of the books, but, even starting with Genesis, I'll give one example. So in the book of Genesis, it talks about a serpent, which is often talked about as a snake. The serpent is a snake, and the snake told Eve to eat an apple. Whereas in reality, where the serpent is not a snake, because a snake can't talk, and a snake is not going to convince somebody to do something. Whereas the serpent, and it doesn't say a snake, so the serpent is actually more in line with a parasite, because if we look at parasites, they're the most subtle of all creatures. They can get within us, and they can actually control our thoughts and the way we think. Like, just think about like a dog that has rabies, because rabies is a parasite. So that dog can love you, but once that parasite is in it, that parasite is going to lead it to actually attack its owner and do other things. So, things like that are a lot of times mythicized, and they didn't even say an apple either. It didn't say a snake. It didn't say an apple. So a lot of things are mythicized. So part of my passion to kind of bring more truth out of the scriptures started me on my journey to write. And then, down the road as well, I did want extra income. And, being an author is something that can lead to extra income. I was working at the time at a job that I really enjoyed. I was working at a transitional home with substance abuse counseling with prison inmates. And I enjoyed the job, but it was a low-paying job. So I was looking to supplement my income. So I started putting out some Bible. That's when I put the official Israelite Nation Bible and started promoting that. And so it was a combination. It was me wanting to put the information out and having a passion to put the information out, but also looking for that supplemental income so that I can continue at the job that I enjoy doing, and make supplemental income. So, but I feel like the passion always has to come first as an author. You really have to have the passion for what you're writing about and really be into what you're writing about. And then from there, other things where, the money should always never be the primary thing, but, it's going to be there, and there's nothing wrong with making money. And that's a good thing that you can make money as an author.
Yeah. Now, what led you to become a publisher? And can you share a little bit about Blackstone Publishing and some of the services that you offer?
Okay. So, well, I started out as doing independently published books. And so I was getting a lot of information. I was doing a lot of research to see how to do independent publishing. So I did publish all of my own works. And then from there, I was just learning a lot, especially as I started to understand the industry more and started really becoming more lucrative in it, and just understanding how to become successful in publishing. So then I started adding, within this past year, added to the staff. We're building up in the marketing department, brought an editor in, just bringing more authors in that want to work with Blackstone. So the service we provide, everything from editing to marketing to giving guidance on even how to format and put the books together, creating covers that are going to be marketable. So really the whole process of from start to finish. We are going to even work with authors as they're even beginning their works. They can work with the editor from the start to finish, helping them in formatting the book and building the book process. So really depending on who the person is and where they're at in the as an author, some already come with a finished product. Some need a lot of work on what they have, and they need a lot of editing. So, we have a whole lot of services that we can have depending on where the author is at.
Awesome. What has been the most rewarding aspect of being a publisher, and what keeps you motivated to continue in this field?
I would say the most positive thing is the positivity we could bring and the truth we could bring. Again, talking about the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word. And what we're doing is publishing words. We're putting words out there for people, and words is the most powerful thing. That's how we get thoughts. That's how we get an understanding of the world around us. So I take publishing very serious. Even from the ancient of days, they used to call them scribes, and they were put in high positions in the temples, because when you put words out for people to read, you could influence both positive and negative.
Yes.
So I would say the most rewarding thing is just having people reach out to me and saying how books that we've published have inspired them. We have people from various correctional institutions that are reaching out, striving to get some of these books, and just seeing how the books can affect people's lives and play an impact in people's lives. That's definitely motivating and inspiring for me, and it's definitely an honor that I can be in a position to do this.
Definitely. I have been inspired by many books that I've read that has also educated me, whether it's on, health and wellness, or just motivate you in a positive mood, especially when you're going through things. I have a friend of mine that has a book, Still We Smile, and that's something like my go-to book to read when, days are not so good, when you feel a little depressed and stuff, and you just need that pick you up. When nobody's around. So
right.
My hat's off to a lot of these authors out there that inspire us as readers.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, becoming a best-selling author requires more than just writing, as you said, a good book. What key steps involve in publishing a book from a manuscript to a finished product?
Okay. Well, as you said, it's a lot of it is the focus and the dedication to get to the finished product, because just getting to the finished product is a accomplishment in itself, because it's not easy to stay focused. There's so many distractions out here. So just staying dedicated and staying focused to get from the beginning idea to the finished product. That's, if you get to that finished product, you accomplished something already. But as you said, you could have a great book, and I've worked with a coworker of mine wrote a great book. She actually wanted me to read it. She knew that, you know, what I do, and so she wanted me to read it. It was a great book. So I read it. I was intrigued by it. It held me. And so, I was like, yeah, this is a great book. It was a fiction book. And so, she was a coworker of mine at the time. I was working at the University of Central Florida. And so, I hadn't talked to her for a couple of years, and I recently talked to her, which is about 5 years later. And I was asking her about the book, and she's like, she pretty much just had it on the shelf for the last few years, hasn't done anything with it. So one thing I've learned through publishing is definitely a key is marketing. Marketing was definitely a big turn for me and my both author and publishing. Once I started, and even putting money, something you have to put money to make money a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so when you're putting money towards marketing, towards advertising, that's a big key. These major companies, it could be McDonald's. Everybody knows the name McDonald's, but they put multi-millions and billions of dollars into their advertising campaigns, even though people know who they are. So more so, an author coming up and a publishing company coming out, they're going to have to put a lot of money towards advertising in order to create a lot of profits and revenue. So the marketing and promotion, talking to people, when the author gets their book out, tell everybody about it, and don't make it a secret. Some people are bashful about their books and shy about it and don't want to say anything. You can't be bashful and shy. You have to let everybody know, I have a book out. This is the book. It could be a stranger you talk to in a grocery store. Let them know you're an author. You have a book. If they want it, they don't, or they don't. But still, let people know this is not. It shouldn't be a secret. And so, just get that word out. And so marketing and advertising is definitely keys to creating, getting something to be a bestseller. People have to know about it.
Yeah. Is there different types of publishing?
Well, I mean, there's different platforms. I don't know if that's what you mean. So there's,
I guess
audio books.
publishing. There's different ways to publish your book.
Yeah, I mean, there's different platforms that you can publish it on. If there's in terms of if you're doing independent publishing, or if you're going through a company, it's basically, bring a manuscript to them, and they're going to have to see, okay, is this something that we can see potential in and future for, and are we going to put our backing into it? Or there's a lot of independent publishing platforms that can be utilized. And then there's also different forms such as digital, audio, print. So there's different mediums to create of the book as well. And so
over the years, the publishing industry, have you noticed there's a change in the trends that you see emerging in the near future?
I would say some of the trends. Well, there's one thing I would say: there's a lot more people doing independent publishing, so the markets are getting a lot more flooded in terms of there's a lot more people putting books out. Previously, you would usually have to go to one of the major publishing companies. Today, a lot of people aren't going that avenue. Obviously, they're still there, the major publishing companies, but a lot more people are going towards independent publishing. So, the market is wide open right now. And so staying relevant is important. Staying creative is important, because if you're doing something and 100 other people did the same exact thing, it's going to be hard to really have your book stand out from the rest. So just being creative in what you're putting out, how you're putting it out, because like I said, the market is definitely a lot more flooded today than previously. And then there's also different platforms and different outlets. Like I said, digital is becoming bigger now. All people are getting more into audiobooks now. So, that has changed within the last 10 years. Previously, I would say probably maybe 20 years ago, it was just all print books I mean, not all, but the majority was definitely print books. Whereas today it's digital and audio has come a long way in the last couple decades.
Would you say that um, doing book launches and speaking engagements is a major key in getting your book to the next level of being a best-selling author?
Oh, for sure. The more you can get your name out there and be relevant. So I have a few books that are coming out. One is an author named True Kepra, and he's been working on this book for about 5 years. And he's also a motivational speaker, which works to his benefit because he does a lot of speaking engagements. He goes to different, he's invited out to lecture and talk in different places. And just being that he's comfortable speaking and going out and speaking, that makes people notice who he is and also want to buy his book. His book is called The Power of Choice. So that's one of the books coming out with by Blackstone Publishing. So that's just an example. So, other people that might be more shy to go out there, and, I've had authors that I've worked with that are more shy about reading their works or going out and talking, then it's a little bit more difficult to market them. So going out to speaking engagements, talking, breaking out of, comfort zones and going out and actually speaking and talking about your book is very important so that people know what's the book about. They get to hear you, get to know who you are, be personable with people. That's very important to the marketing and promotion of a book.
I know a friend of mine, a year or so ago, she actually used to get on social media and she would read certain sections of the book like every day, just little
Mm,
small peaks. And all of a sudden, I think it was on Instagram, and
mm,
she started getting people start watching and tuning in because they wanted to see where she left off at. She just, left them in suspense to
mm.
come back for more and more. And hey, she got a lot of
Right,
her books sold with that.
right,
So yeah,
right.
definitely.
Yeah, that's the key. Like how she did, she sounded like she was very consistent because that's the thing. You got to be
Mhm.
consistent. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's definitely important.
she would just read just enough. Okay, I'm gonna, come back tomorrow and I'll give you a little bit
Mhm.
more. So just like that teaser
Right, right.
every time, or get to a point where her book was kind of like a suspense mystery. So
Hmm.
it's like, oh, now you have to come back to see. But then sometimes she would bypass, like, you got to read the whole book to get the rest of that conversation.
Right.
But that was a good marketing tool,
Yeah, yeah, that's
that she
good that you
did.
knew how to use that and do things like that. Like this is say TV works the same way. They'll leave right before commercial break, leave it a suspenseful part, and wanting you to come back to see what happens next. So with books,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
yeah. What are some of the hurdles that like new authors experience when it comes to self-publishing their book?
Well, the first part is just the completion of the book. A lot of authors can get distracted throughout the process, get dejected if life happens, and so just getting to the finish line is a big hurdle. So just staying focused and staying committed to the book is the number one thing, and then number two is just being believing. A lot of authors, I've even experienced this. So I put a book out. It's called Ninja Kai. It's a mind, body, spirit self defense book. And I put this book when I first released the book. It was in 2017, and a couple of coworkers at the time had bought the book, maybe two or three, and they really didn't say too much about the book. They didn't. I didn't know if they liked it, didn't like it. They really didn't say too much. So I kind of just shelved the book for a couple of years until I had some people pick it up and look at it, and they were like, "Man, this book is inspiring." And so then, when I said, "Really?" Like I didn't think I was like, I like the book, but because the first couple of people that read the book didn't really say too much or give me that positive feedback, I didn't think too highly of it. So another hurdle can be believing in your work and knowing that okay, you're putting this book out there for a reason and having full belief that this is a book that you put out for a reason, that you want to get it out there, and believing in your work. And so a lot of people are really bashful with their work. They don't really talk about it, or they don't really, put it out there and the way it can be put out. So really just self-promotion. Self-promoting is a big hurdle for a lot of people. So self-promoting a book and wanting to put it out there, that's another hurdle. And there, yeah, just getting support from people. When you do self-publish, that's another hurdle. Just having people that support you and encourage you. And if you don't have it immediately, looking to get into the various groups, other authors or whoever it may be, that can support and encourage you in the process.
Now, for those that experience writer's block, because I know even though I write in a magazine, there's times when it's just like, I can't think of the words to say. What advice would you give someone that does experience a writer's block?
That's a good question. And one tip I give is to read, read creative works. So, times when I've experienced that, I'll read some great authors and get inspired through the creativity of their writing, get the creative juices going again. So that's one thing I would say is read great authors, read other great authors, and see how they put words together, see the stories and the images they put forth. And so, times when I've felt that myself, just going to great authors and seeing the way they write and getting inspired by them, that's definitely a way. Finding, really peace. I like to use nature. I think nature is a good way to inspire us. Getting sun, going for a walk at night, going into a park, just getting out into nature, making sure we're, breathing, because sometimes the block could come just from life, living that, lifing so much, and it could be stress, it could be pressure, it could be different things that have our mind blocked. So just being able to release, breathe, spend time in nature, that's another tool that I give people. Another one is just having certain discipline for ourselves. It could be, okay, every time I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do something. Even if I can't write in this meeting time, I'm going to do something creative right now. And just being consistent with our pursuit of what we're doing, and not letting distractions keep us from, just like we go to work. If we're working at a job, we're going to make sure, even if we don't feel like going to that job, we're going to go to the job. So the same way we do for a job, we have to do for ourselves. We have to be consistent and show up for ourselves with the projects that we're working on.
Now, what role does it play, for instance, you writing a Pacific novel, to maybe get into that environment?
Okay.
There, if
I
it's like
feel
a
like it's a
health and
big,
wellness, maybe
right.
tapping into, something that reflects health and well to get that inspiration, or even, whatever the book is, to tap into that environment.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing too, touching on from the last question, that's a big part as well, just being what you're going to write about and living what you're going to write about. So, like you said, if you're writing about health and wellness, really be focused. We can't really, if you're going to write about health and wellness, don't be just sitting on your couch eating potato chips all day and then start trying to write a book on health and wellness. You really have to be living what you're writing about. So just being in that environment, whether it's going to health fairs and just being around people that are interested in health and wellness, and just being in an environment that, when I'm putting a book together, I'm really trying to just embrace and just immerse myself in the topic I'm writing about. And so whether it's being in a certain environment or being around certain people that are talking about that type of subject, just really immersing ourselves. And so that's another way that, again, touching back to the writer's block, that can overcome and be a good tool for that as well. It's just being around people that are talking about it and stimulating that type of topic of conversation, to get our creative juices flowing again.
Do you do any, under the Blackstone Publishing, do you do any like seminars for beginners?
We are looking to add that as a service. I'm seeing there's a need for that. A lot of authors that have stories. I always say, if you have a book inside of us, inside of you, we're going to bring it out of you. We bring books to life. But I am seeing there is a need for helping authors to create that finished product and build it. So as of yet, it's not fully in the completed stage, but that is something that's in the works for Blackstone Publishing to start having seminars and workshops. It could even be retreats. We might have something in Central America where we have authors come out and join the workshops, or wherever it may be, coming out. You know, our headquarters is Orlando, downtown Orlando. So even coming out to Orlando, but yeah, we definitely have that in the works, because there is a need for that for a lot of authors.
Awesome. What about some self-care? Because and self-care is a big thing right now. And I know in KO magazine you did talk about some self-care tips, no matter what field you're in, but especially as authors, we have to maintain some kind of self-care in writing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share some those for some upcoming writers, or those, as you say, that are experiencing writer's block or just need to get that inspiration?
Right. So yeah, I mean, self-care is ultimately it's an expression of self-love, and being able to express, take care of ourselves. Just like if we take care of our children because we love them, we're going to take care of, really anything. If we like our car, we're going to take care of that car. So taking care of ourselves should be one of our primary focuses. So one thing I would say is, eating good, being mindful of what we eat, because food does play a part into our thought process. And so we eat a lot of heavy and greasy foods that can block our signal, block our thoughts. It weigh us down, hold us down, make us feel heavy. So eating more lighter foods, making sure we're eating lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, because those the enzymes and the vitamins and the minerals are going to really affect they go into our bloodstream, they affect our mind, they affect our brain, brain signals. So just eating good is just alone can help create a more clear thought process. So that's one thing. Then also making sure we become more mindful of our breathing. A lot of times when we get stressed, and it's actually shown that babies and young children, they breathe deeper than most adults in the Western world. A lot of times our breathing gets more shallow. We get more anxiety and stress, and so our breathing becomes a lot more shallow. And again, that affects our thought patterns and our ways when we're not taking deep breaths and just, so being mindful of our breath and getting back to deep rhythmic breathing, and taking time to ourselves. Depending if we have a busy lives, we always still need some self-time where we can kind of get away from it all. Where it could be our own bedroom, it could just be a place in a park or nature, but some time where because if we're constantly around other people, then it's hard to really know our own thoughts. So spending some time to ourselves is important. And then if we do have a lot of time to ourselves, spending time with other people, with loved ones, with family, as you began the show talking about how important it is to spend time with family, making time for family and loved ones. So all those are important, to be around love, be around people that care about you. And like I said, people are so busy these days that a lot of times people start forgetting to make time for each other. So that's definitely important. And whatever else, having some kind of hobby, some kind of activity that we enjoy. For me, I'm into fitness. I like to work out, so making time to do fitness. I like to go to nature, like parks and springs, and some kayaking, things like that. Whatever you're interested. Everybody has different interests and things they enjoy. So making time for those things, because nobody's going to do it for us. And if we just let the world dictate to us, the world's just going to do what the world wants to do with us. So as long as we know that things that we do and want to do should be a priority. We always have to handle our business and do the things that we need to do in the world, but we also have to make sure we make time for ourselves, and that's don't forget about ourselves. Never forget about ourselves, because if we forget about ourselves, then nobody else is going to remember to give us the time we need to take care of ourselves.
Thank you for sharing that. Those are great self-care regimens, and whether you're an author or not, those are still great self-care to incorporate in our daily lives just to maintain our well-being. Mm-hmm. But before we go, is there anything that you'd like to share that we didn't cover? And also, how can our listeners and viewers get in contact with you, whether it's to put them on that path to start writing and also publishing their book?
Okay, well, yeah, they can visit us. We have our website. It's www.bspbooks.com. That's www.bspbooks.com. And when you go to the website, you can contact us. You can contact me if you put there's links in there to contact, and I will receive those. I also have the email bspbooks1@gmail.com. Again, that's bspbooks1, the number 1 @gmail.com. And, when you go to the website, you'll see a lot of the upcoming books. We have books that are out right now, featured books. We currently have a featured book. One is called 12 Tribes Culture, Meditation Precepts. And it's basically it's written by Jakim Ben Israel. So he wrote the book about 3 years ago this month. And it's been doing very well. It gives a lot of biblical precepts. We're actually in the process of coming out with a second edition of it. So we're in the process of coming out the second edition. So that's one of our featured books. We have a poetry book by Clyde Neal called The Crossroads. That's another featured book. We have a book coming out. Most likely in the next few weeks is going to be its release, but probably by mid-December. It's called The Power of Choice by True Kepra. And then we have an illustrated biblical stories and illustrated Moses stories by Melody Shakia. So you'll see this is actually that's actually the newest release. We just put that out 2 days ago. So it has all images, you say Black and brown children, because a lot of times they'll open up Bibles and it looks all European images. And so for children, Black and brown children, African American children, Caribbean children, these are children's biblical stories that they'll be able to see themselves reflected in these Bible passages. So, this is actually something that we've been getting requests for years. And so it just put it out 2 days ago. It's just, new out there. And so that's another book that we've just released, and we're excited to have it. And so, so that's there. And that's something that I know that's going to do well, because it's been a highly requested book. So again, I would tell people to go to visit the website, bspbooks.com, and see we're always constantly renewing the website, putting new information and new books coming out. And, just stay current, contact us, reach out to us. We love to engage with people and talk with people, whether it's readers, inspired authors, whoever it may be. We love to talk to people and talk with the community, and even participate in community activities. And, that's one of the things I love, going to different venues. And we went to a summer solstice event where it was focused on health and wellness. We vended out there. We went to an autumn one as well. And so just going out to various events. And, so if you have a business or you have events that you have, just reach out to us. We would love to come.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great. Look forward to it.
All right. Thank you. And again, it's been a pleasure to be on the show, and I know we've kind of talked about this for a while, so I'm glad that we've
Yes.
got to we've got to nail it out. And I always know that you do great with the interviews, so I've been looking forward to that.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, this was awesome, and I'm finally glad that it happened, and I'm looking forward to so much more for what you're doing, Blackstone Publishing, and also, every issue we love the different articles that you bring and educating for our aspiring authors. So thank
Right.
you so much.
And we're looking forward. I know the next one is, we'll have
The
most likely we're gonna have
January,
one of
February,
our
March issue.
right, and that's like women's authors, and we may have one of our women authors that we talk to for that next issue. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, thank you again.
Are you a bookworm, always on the lookout for a good book? Look no further. Introducing Blackstone Publishing, your gateway to a world of amazing books. At Blackstone Publishing, we are passionate about bringing you the best books for your curiosity. Our team of talented authors and editors work tirelessly to create a collection that will leave you motivated and inspired. Whether you're into seeking wisdom, heartwarming romance, or thought-provoking poetry, we have something for everyone. So, where can you find these hidden diamonds? Visit our website at bspbooks.com, your one-stop destination for browsing and purchasing our latest releases. Open 24 hours with just a few clicks, you'll be transported into a world of insight and unforgettable stories. Stay connected with us on Instagram, where you can discover behind-the-scenes content, author interviews, and sneak peeks of upcoming releases. Follow us today at BSP Books One and join our vibrant community of book lovers. And for those who prefer Facebook, like our page to stay up to date with book recommendations, exclusive promotions, and lively discussions. Join the conversation and connect with fellow book enthusiasts. Blackstone Publishing, where the love for literature knows no bounds. Immerse yourself in captivating stories and embark on an unforgettable adventure. Visit bspbooks.com. Follow us on Instagram at bspbooks1 and like our Facebook page today.
I would like to thank my special guest, Karajah Yashar. And remember, when choosing a publisher, consider your goals, budget, and timeline. Before making a choice, carefully look into each option and talk with an author or expert in the field like Blackstone Publishing. Hey, it's your girl, Coach Lady Mia, host of The Mia Allman Show, presented by Official Woman of Culture 365 and executive producer of Glow 365 TV and radio shows. As a certified master life coach and certified in other areas of mental health counselor and practitioner, self-care and boundary settings, health and nutrition, and as a wellness advocate, I share honest conversations with individuals on various topics that affect men, women, mentally, physically, and spiritually, to celebrating our cultural heritage. So join me every first and fourth Thursday right here on Caribbean Rhythms Radio, online at crrfm.com, and also on YouTube at Glow 365 TV shows at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Glow 365 TV show. So tell a friend to tell their friends and join in on the conversation to find your power of glow that equals our greater level of wellness within the mind, body, and soul. please visit online to read all our current and previous issues on inspiring authors. And a special thank you to all current and inspiring authors worldwide. Art of writing and recognizing the talent of authors who bring stories, knowledge, and imagination to life. It encourages book lovers, inspiring authors, and readers to honor and support their favorite author while exploring the world of literature.
Hey, this is your girl Sophie G, your real sister from the Sophie G Show, and I am giving a shout out to KUO Magazine. They're dedicated to promoting a greater level of wellness in all of us. Yes, they bring out that glow. Caribbean Under One magazine features different cultures and personalities of both men and women from within our own communities, sharing biographies and their personal stories and challenges, even their secrets as to how they overcame the toughest obstacles they faced, with the hope of inspiring others. Caribbean Under One magazine gives back, and they acknowledge by honoring the ribbon of Survivors 365 by bringing awareness to those who have overcome and struggled with chronic illnesses and conditions. They inspire. KUO encourages and reminds us all of the true importance of having that glow in all our lives, a greater level of wellness. This is your girl Sophie G, your real sister, who promises to always keep it real. For me not lie, I'm not try. And I say, get your subscription today. Just log on, tell your friends, tell your family to join in and become a member, to subscribe to KUOmagazine.com today.
The current November-December 2023 issue is available online at KUOmagazine.com, featuring Mr. Lee Haney, who's 8-time Mr. Olympia, Guinness Book of World Record holder, and International Sports Hall of Fame inductee. He's the author of Fit at Any Age, who shares a special exclusive interview, what inspired him to become a bodybuilder, the celebrities he trained, and competing on the same stage with Caribbean athletes, and much more. Please join me again next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Glow 365 for The Mia Allman Show. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, stay safe and well, and continue to find your power of glow that equals our greater level of wellness within the mind, body, and soul.
Season's greetings, everyone. Each year, the Jamaican American Association of Central Florida conducts a Christmas gift drive for victims of domestic violence. Please help us to bring a smile and to brighten someone's Christmas this year by donating an unwrapped gift for a man, woman, teenager, or child at Harbor House in Central Florida. For additional information or to learn where to drop your items off, please call 407-292-3719 or 407-486-5001 or email us at jaaaocfl@gmail.com. You may also visit jaaaocf.com to make a cash donation to the gift drive. Thank you so much in advance for your generosity. Ladies and gentlemen, Christmas bells are ringing, and the Jamaican American Association would like to invite you to our annual Christmas celebration on December 16th, 2023, from 6:30 till 11:30 at the Church of the Messiah, 241 Main Street, Winter Garden, Florida, 34787. Tickets are available at $60 for adults and $30 for children, 12 and under. Call 407-486-5001, 407-276-3685, or 407-292-3719 to get your tickets and information. Visit our website, jaaocf.com, to learn more about us. We look forward to celebrating Christmas with you this year. Hi there. This is Joan Edgehill, President of the Jamaican American Association of Central Florida, Vice President of This is Jamaica, and a poet and author. Join me for community chat every Saturday at 12:30 on Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network. We will have lots of fun guests and lots to talk about. So be sure to join us to find out what's happening in your neck of the woods every Saturday, 12:30 on CRR Network.
This is your girl, Adriana Clark, and you are now listening into Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network. I invite you to join me every Saturday for Saturday Praise, when we come and we give God all the glory and all the thanks. Tune in every Saturday, 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. and make sure you keep it locked to CRRFM.com, giving you a little bit of everything.
This is Princess Bella.
And this is Coach Lady Mia, inviting you to join the conversation every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for Glow 365 Radio Show. So keep it locked right here on CRRFM.com as we give you a little bit of
everything.